Hi, this is Angie, and I've worked here for like a couple months. Where's Dave?
Hi, would you all prepare, please? Sure. Father, we thank you for this time together today. We just ask you to bless each and every person here, those that were not able to attend for medical reasons and other reasons. Father, just give them a blessing. Just keep us in a good time here to rejoice with each other. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before all this started, I really didn't know anything about my dad other than the things that, a few things my mom had mentioned and his sister, but his sister put him on a pedestal. He was a perfect person, he never made a mistake, he just walked on water. And then I met you guys out of curiosity because I wanted to know more about him. And you guys made him a real person. You told me the crazy things and the things that he was not a perfect person. So you made him real. And you guys you're all family. You guys have all told me different things about him or about where you were that I never knew. I thought that my opinion or my thought was it was MASH. MASH to me was what you guys, and obviously it wasn't like that at all, but you made the situation real in a good way. You gave him a personality. You let me see videos with him moving around. I heard his voice. I learned what his job was. And I've got more dads than anybody that I know. and more people that my husband had to pass muster with before he could marry me. And I love every one of you.
Sharon Swinney, and I'm the life of this guy over here.
The troll. The troll.
Yep, your turn. Oh.
Now, about everybody, I guess, knows me. If they don't, I live awful close to Stewart.
Denny Bridges.
Nancy Bridges, his wife.
Gene Howe, friend of Stewart's.
Sharon Howe. Stewart and I ran the streets of Greenville when we were kids and grew up together.
Where's Dave at?
Bob Ronke from Benson Boy. Ron and I are going to get together at the end of this meeting. Bye.
Jim Kell.
Diane Cow. Elaine Drake.
Dave Burbage.
John Dostowski.
Terry Peterson.
And Jim Swinney.
And Tina Allen. That's right.
When I first got to Vietnam, I had a little brown notebook. And it listed all the names, addresses, and phone numbers at that time. If we hadn't had that, just couldn't have. Because we'd get on a tape recorder every night and just go through, get phoned up. So name, and if I hit one, those were all in that little book. If we had not had that, this couldn't have happened. And it was fun.
John Bench, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How's things going?
Going fine. Got a new great-grandson, and got a grandson living with us. They tell you about your kids leaving home, then they start filtering back. Well, after they stop filtering back, then the grandkids start coming in.
Yeah, I've heard about that. We've been lucky that way. I sent my daughter off to San Diego. That's far enough away.
There you go. Can't come running home.
Yeah, so, hey, nice seeing you again.
Yeah, good to see
Mr.
you.
Peterson, what's
Yes.
happening? How's things in Washington?
Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah, it's good. Good. Got
2 great granddaughters now since the last reunion, and so watching them grow up and following soccer with the other 2 that are still playing, and playing golf once or twice a week, still walking a little bit, and really look forward to coming here this year because I figure it's gonna be our last one, and
Yeah, it's
I want
kind
to
of,
see everybody.
it's kind of sad, but I know what you mean about the grandkids, watching their sports can take up a lot of your
Lot of
time.
time.
What are you doing?
And some really crazy weather.
grandson.
All right, nice talking to you.
The other
Good to-
grandson.
Thanks.
Up north, 50 miles south of Chicago. Farm community used to be, now they're building houses in here. Used to watch the crops grow, now you're watching the houses grow.
That's everywhere. So where were you stationed?
I was in Canto, June 67 to June 68, you know. 31L, EL 294.1 ports, radio relay carrier repairman. When these guys would break them, they bring them into my shop. And I
Where's Dave? He's, ain't looking for him high and low, can't find him.
Ted, Hut,
Hey! Oh, my
look at this here.
The 52nd Signal Corps has proven to be an extension of Tina's family. They have done a great job of adopting me as her husband, as basically one of their extended group. It means so much to her, and she means so much to me that there's nothing more I could ask for. All of these guys she looks at them as a multitude of stepfathers, or just straight up fathers. And you can't get a better group of people. The reunions are fantastic. We have such a good time. I like hearing the stories that you guys all tell, because honestly, I tried to go into service and unfortunately couldn't pass the physical. So I kind of feel bad because I wasn't able to do, and for that reason, I myself kind of look at this as a way of trying to show my love for my country, as my love for the guys that have served for our country, to give me the freedoms to do that I do. So you're not going to get anything better than the 52nd Signal Corps.
My name is John Rostowski. I was in Vietnam from 67 to 68, June to June. I was a radio relay carrier repairman, and I repaired all the repair equipment.
Oh, where are you from, John?
I'm from Lowell, Indiana.
All right, and have you been to the reunion before?
No, this is my first time.
Okay, and unfortunately, I think this may be our last reunion, but better late than never.
Yes.
Nice to see you, sir.
Okay, go away.
I heard that he was here.
Ranji says, "Where's Dave?" I said, "I don't know, ask Ron." Ron says, "That's Mackenzie."
Hey, I
Where
don't
the
know.
hell's Dave?
Okay, first I'd like to say, in 1970 I received a letter in the mail from Stu Bowles inviting me to a reunion in Corydon, Indiana for a Vietnam reunion. Well, I had left Vietnam 2 years prior to that. And when I showed up, there was only like 3 people there. There was Ron O'Laughlin, myself, and I can't remember the other person's name. So we just sat around, drank beer, had barbecue, and enjoyed ourselves for a couple of days, and then went back. And then later on, in 2001, got another letter from Stu. We were having a reunion in Corydon at the Holiday Inn. Well, I was working, you know, it's like everybody else during that time frame. I was still working full time, and it was one of those things that you had to decide whether you could get off at the time or not. But when you showed up, we had a banner, we had a bus that took us around Louisville, and we basically talked to our fellow veterans that we served with at our post and in our company, but also in other sites at the Delta, where we might have talking to them on the phone or by teletype. And it was just good to talk to people that basically had the same job area that we did as far as in Vietnam. So that's, and then from there, every other year from there on until this year, we've had a reunion, and it seems like, well, there's our group camaraderie is closer, but our numbers are fewer as people pass through their later stages of life. So it's been enjoyable just to reconnect with people, and it kind of helps you decide what happened to the people you served with during that time frame 55 years ago in Vietnam.
Has anybody seen Dave? I'm not sure, but I bet he's hiding again.
We were coming every 2 years, and we were getting together at his house. Well, the tree happened to die. And the last time we were here, or the time before that, they cut up the wood and made bowls, you know, to give to everybody or anybody that wanted a bowl. And, you know, we appreciate what he did. I keep in contact with Pabs. I call him every so often, you know, to talk, to keep an eye on my friend Stewart. You know, and you'll pass, you know, what's going on with him, you know, and I told him, hey, if anything ever happens, call me, and, you know, I'll come up here. So, but he's been a good man, he's helped us a lot. His wife, you know, passed away, you know, during one of the ceremonies, I guess, so, and she was a nice lady. She was funny at times, you know. And we dedicated a bench. The people got together and pitched in the money and bought a bench for her and put it underneath the tree. So I don't know what happened to the bench. Is it still there?
It's still there.
Yeah, okay. So.
And we got flowers around that tree.
Yeah, so that's our gratitude for, you know, for what he has done for us. And he's never said, no, I won't do it. He's there. So I want to thank him for all that he's done for us.
To allow us to do what we do at this hotel, to give us the time that they give us, we would not be here. And thank you very much.
You guys are awesome.
You guys are welcome. We're just doing our jobs, but it is a pleasure. Oh gosh. Ooh. It is a pleasure to get to work with you guys.
And if you're over 100, the night's free.
And I've said this, don't show this video to anybody. Y'all are my favorite group. Don't tell anybody else that. It's true, but it has been a pleasure to get to know you guys and work with you. So
Tell your husband thanks for having her there.
Yes, absolutely. I will. Thank you guys.
Tell Angie we really appreciate her help, or we would have not
Yes.
have seen the videos.
I did. I told
And
her
she went out of her way to get us that special cable. We didn't have.
Yesterday when I told her she was just like an old pit bull. She put her sink her teeth into something she didn't want to go to.
I told her yesterday, and I talked to her last week. She said, "You didn't tell me they called me a pit bull." In a good way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, there's Dave. Oh, wrong Dave. Wrong Dave.
Hi, Don Swift here. I just wanted to make some comments about the reunions of the second. Been to about 5 of them, and it's been fantastic. I've reunited myself with my comrades in the 52nd from Vietnam. I've made friends. They're like a family, and we're going to try to do this biannually. Annually, we're making up our minds, but I hope we keep this thing going. We're all getting a little on the older side, and we don't have that many years. And I think that the closer we get and the exchanges that we have about what, not so much what happened, about what we're doing today and, you know, what we can do to make things better. I'll be coming back. Thank you.
Everyone worried that everyone's had a good time. I've never seen a woman worry as much as Sharon Bowes. But we loved her and we miss her.
There was a time when everybody wrote a thimble.
Yes.
And anyway, to my wife. But anyway, I'll be out of here in a minute. But anyway, each one of them thimbles is still in my basement. But the person's that gave it to her.
That was part of the
Now,
fun.
this is not a very good ending, but that's the story I got.
Hey, Dave, is that you over there with Rocky? What y'all doing?
60-something. Hi, my name is Denny Bridges. I'm going to tell a story about Christmas Eve Day at Canto Army Airfield in 1968. I was outside and it was a typical busy day. It wasn't like it was Christmas. It was dusty, a lot of activity going on, and all of a sudden I heard Christmas carols coming from the sky. I looked up and there was an Air Force U-8, a Helio Courier, that was used for psychological operations that used to try to get the Viet Cong to surrender. Like they had big loudspeakers on it. Well, all of a sudden, this Helio Courier is playing Christmas carols. As people started to hear it, some of this equipment started to shut down. Helicopters shut down, vehicles stopped, everybody looked up into the sky because it was a seminal moment for those of us that far away from home. For many years, I wondered whether I remembered that event correctly. I don't remember the exact date, probably 1992. I was a check pilot for the U.S. Forest Service, and I was sent to Redmond, Oregon. I lived in Missoula, Montana. They sent me to Redmond, Oregon because of the fire danger. I was sitting around waiting for an assignment, and they walked up to me and they said, "We have a contract pilot that's here and he needs a check ride." We used to have to give them annual check rides. I said, "Denny, would you do it?" And I said, "Sure." So we went out and got in the airplane and we're flying out to a point in space. And I looked over to the west and there's the Sisters Mountains, and I made a comment about how beautiful they were from Central Oregon looking at them. The pilot, he said, "Well, that's why I'm here in Oregon." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I got a flying magazine when I was in Vietnam." He said his wife sent it to him, and it had an article about that part of Oregon, and he decided when he got back he was going to go to that part of the country. And I said, "When were you in Vietnam?" And he said, 1968, 1969. And I said, "Well, that's when I was there." And I said, "Where were you at?" And he said, "Canto." I couldn't believe that just a random meeting that I met someone who had been in Canto at the same time as me. I related the incident about the Christmas carols, and he said, "You're kidding." And I said, "No." I said, "I remember those Christmas carols like it was yesterday." And he said, "I've got to tell you, I was a psychological warfare officer, and my wife sent me a tape with those Christmas carols on it." He said, I convinced an Air Force pilot to take them up and play them on Christmas Eve." And I said, "I can't believe the coincidence." And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "As a matter of fact, I got reprimanded for it." And I said, "Well, let me tell you what, your reprimand was worth it, because you can't believe how good that made us feel on the ground." And I said, "Why were you reprimanded?" He said, "My commanding officer thought I had insulted the Vietnamese culture." And I said, "Well, you didn't insult us, and we're the guys that counted." And so anyway, I still have his business card. He's actually a deputy DA, and he flies part-time, but in that part of Oregon. But I think it's amazing
what a small world it is and how we can have these random encounters.
You know what? I recall reading about similar incidents in World War II where they called truces at that time, where the Germans and the Americans would cross the lines, and for one brief moment in time they would celebrate Christmas together. And I've read about that happening in the Civil War with the North and the South crossing the line. Denny, that is a great story, and I'm glad you shared with us. The crust is a mite dry.
I don't think anyone knows what's going on.
True. It works.
Oh, what really lovely picture, you know. Look at that, and what? It's on.
Hey Dave, where you been? Dave, I thought you were supposed to be here. Nobody's seen you. Where you at? Donut shop?
Because they've changed it, because at first, originally, about 5 years ago, you could only get a mail order from the exchange. But the exchange mail order is the same as the VA commissary, as far as all that.
Ice cream after the winery.
It was the worst ice cream I have ever eaten.
It was chocolate. There is no chocolate.
You can stand right next to it.
It was worse than bittersweet. It had a horrible taste to it. I've never tasted chocolate. And I don't like hazelnut. It was worse than hazelnut.
Is that right? So you live at Salmon Dome? So is that what you do a lot of?
How you doing, John? How you doing?
Okay,
Haven't seen you in a while.
Hold it up with my foot. Go ahead and keep.
One on this side.
Oh, Samantha. I thought you said Sam, so maybe she did something.
No, if I had done something, then it would have been Samantha
Was
Jones.
that the last bottle of wine? And then we got one back. 7550. Claire over here on the couch, you got a bottle of wine again.
Listen, we're gonna have to have an intervention.
Did you get him a bag? The last item is a insulated bag, 7548.
7548, here we are. Exactly, yeah, carry all your booze in, there you go.
So when you walk away, you start away.
So what flavor did you get, Matt? Peach? I'm good with that.
All right, you got how much?
This is Claire. This is Claire.
Up to read, when it's your turn, we'll give you a little card that has a reminder. You said you would read this, 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 and then just have each person stand up and read the names of the person that they want to recognize.
Not like a winner to me.
I like it, I like it. The other is,
The other
we had our times.
The other was great with all the candles, but that's a lot to do in our little area that we have out there.
You know, we don't have to worry about whether the candle lights or not.
Right, we don't have to set the fire alarm off.
Okay, go away.
I heard that he was here. Diane, how's the pizza?
Good.
Good, yeah. Well, you're scalding, is it any good?
Oh, it's delicious, but I need some tomato sauce to dip my crust in.
Oh, wow.
Want garlic sauce?
Dave, where the hell's Dave? Wasn't he supposed to be here? He's not here. Somebody go look and see if they can find him.
What does it mean to come here for 20 years? Oh, I love it. I get to see all my friends and you meet new friends and you know, it's good to do. Good to keep the things going.
Who's Dave? Do we know a Dave? Is he supposed to be here?
I'm Jim Swinney. I was in the comm center in Vietnam in the 52nd, and anyway, basically they want us to do the video to tell you what we mostly like about the reunions and everything. The biggest part is that we get to see a lot of guys that we were over there with, and some of them we hadn't seen in, you know, almost 50 years, 40 to 50 years. And also too, we've made a lot of new friends and everything with all the other people that come. And my wife's not with me right now, but I'll speak for her. She really enjoys them too. We actually have made some lifelong friends that were people we didn't know at all. Anyway, I'm signing off. That's it.
Nice to meet you. Get your pizza.
Hey, we're looking for Dave. Have you seen Dave?
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing too. I used to call February used to be my February funk, because my dad was still February 6th. And the little man came along. His birthday's February 11th, so I no longer have February funk. I had so many people, all of you, checking on me, praying for me, sending your good vibes, whatever you want to call it. I'm okay. I'm not 100%, but I don't have cancer. And I just want to say thank you for helping me and helping him and Sam get through that last year. It was a bitch. I appreciate you guys.
And we'll continue to do that.
And yes, I appreciate that. Yes.
Hi, this is Denny Bridges. My wife and I have been coming to the reunion since 2015 was our first one. My goal when I started coming to these reunions was to recontact with Steve Harmon, our company commander, who I really respected. But it's all about fellowship. It's all about remembering. Even though some of us did not know each other at the time, we all had the same experiences. And if this happens to be the last reunion, and I hope it's not, it's a bittersweet time because it means that we may not see some of these people again. And they're very important to us. They're important to our lives. They were important to us as we formed our values as young men. And I thank everybody for putting it on. if Tina had not been as persistent as she was, we would not all be here, and I really thank her for wanting to know about her dad and those folks who served with him and knew him, and that they could pass on their experiences with JJ to her. Thank you very much, and thank you, Ron, for doing this.
Hey, I'm gonna move next to you, man. Go ahead. I got this now. I think you would love to have me for a neighbor.
I don't think so.
And I like fried chicken. How many chickens you got?
43.
43 chickens? Yeah. Did you hear about him losing chickens? No. And he thought it was a coyote or a fox or something? Tell him what it was.
Well, no, not the alligator. The alligator got the geese.
Oh, he got the geese.
And my 2 puppies.
Oh, yeah, that big alligator. 8 foot, eh?
Yeah.
He's stealing my coat.
Now that alligator is somebody's billfold.
We caught it this week. We caught it.
This week? Wow.
Did you get a bounty on him?
No, he sold to somebody that, or he's giving it to somebody.
A friend of mine wanted to go fish for it. So you have to ride to Austin because it's illegal to kill alligators. You can't kill them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they send you a tag, you fill it in, give them $21, and that's how much it costs for the alligator.
Here's a picture of that alligator that they caught, Ronke's caught, just this past week. It got his puppies and 2 geese. 8 footer. Not for me.
Of course, I met Bobby and Stuart in 1966, and JJ, same time, and we all spent time together. And so hearing the news of his passing shook me up. I knew Roger Johnson real well, and he's the first guy that got back to Tina. And I understand the situation was it happened so fast that it kind of made you leery. Yeah. Is that true? Yeah. That's very true. And then he turned you on to Stuart, who was, we called him Pops. I never realized at the time that he's 6 years older than me or whatever it was, because I know it, that's 19, still sniffling. But anyway, hearing the news and everything, finding out about the very first reunion, I wanted to come mainly to see these guys. And I met Tina, and it became real important in our lives. So, thank you.
Let's get his ATM number while we're over his shoulder here.
30 years after the incident, I get a call from Tina. And she wanted to know what her dad and I were talking about that night or that day. And I told her that it's just everything erased from my memory, you know. JJ was standing right next to me when the mortar round hit on my right side. I didn't hear the explosion. All I remember is seeing black smoke, and that knocked me out. When I woke up, I looked to my right because I knew he was on my right side, but no, he was on my left side, and he was right next to me. I knew JJ, but we weren't really good buddies or anything like that. I knew him because I worked with him, and that's about all I could tell. I mean, she wanted to meet me. I went and met her, and since then, her daughter asked me to be her adopted grandfather, and I told her I would do but she would have to learn to speak Spanish. You know. So the first time I met Tina, I gave her a T-shirt that I had made in Corpus Christi with JJ's name on the front and all the names of the people that had been killed in Corpus Christi, from Corpus Christi. And she gave me a Purple Heart coin. Okay, that coin, I cleaned it up, put JJ's name on it and his service number, and I gave that to Sam for her graduation in 2013, I think it was. So, and she called me, she says, "Te quiero, abuelo," which means I love you, Grandpa.
But in either late 67 or early 68, while John was in NAM, he went dumpster diving. And he found a Vietnam with all the locations where you folks were stationed. Some of y'all have had a chance to look at it and find where you were. Some of you, but anybody who's not had a chance would like to look at it. When you go get your food, if you can fill up your plate, you can set it in there in places if you want to hold it on your lap because with the table, or you can bring it out here someplace where you're comfortable. Once we're done here, these
come out.
Oh, Bach Lu. Okay, I thought I seen the Vin Loy.
Yeah, at the Vietnamese things.
Okay.
And like I say, this is what we call the voice of the Delta. You know,
What was Lancer for?
I think it was Fourth Corps area.
Now,
You know?
Riley and all them were in
They were in Vin Long.
Vin Long.
And Vin Long is right here.
Okay, so they were close to Canto.
Yeah. Riley and Sam Dykes.
Yeah.
Lynn Hunter.
Okay. For some reason, I thought Canto was on the coast.
No.
No.
So
Yeah, it was the middle of the rivers.
Yeah.
maybe that's why I was thinking about the water. I wasn't thinking about a river.
The water table was about 6 inches below the surface.
Yeah. All the airfields, they had to build up.
Right.
But you stepped off the airfield, you were in 6 inches to a foot of water.
This is sweet.
The original bunker that they built between the two barracks at the airfield, the two end barracks at the airfield, was dug down a little bit, and it would fill up with water. It'd have this much water in it, and it never got any sunlight. So it was like a breeding ground for some new form of life.
Yeah, okay.
And,
Dave, where the headquarters if
well,
necessary.
what these guys did, we had radio relay sites.
That's us.
And these guys, some of them these two guys were radio relay site repairmen, the equipment repairmen. And then, but you guys are also trained as operators.
You operated first, then you learned to repair.
And then, so they'd have these relay sites, and Canto was where our battalion headquarters was. It was downtown.
Right.
Then we had the company headquarters was at the airfield, which was what, 5 miles from town?
4 or 5 miles.
Something like that. So from
Been long right there at C Company.
from Canto, they would,
Say it louder
it was
so I can
line of
catch
sight
it.
radio
Been
stuff.
long
So
with
that's when
C
they had to
Company
have these relay sites.
headquarters, I believe.
Okay. And there's Canto. Point to some other areas.
Sock Train.
Where's
Sock Train should be down the south.
Down somewhere down
Because you could, you can almost see the ocean.
That's Bach Lu.
That's Bach Lu.
And at one time, A Company was at Bach Lu. And then I talked to Captain Harmon about it, and he said
One long.
that's not Bach Lu.
I don't remember
Where's
that
Bach
one.
Lu? But he said they had open sewers, and he said it wasn't sanitary.
Well, we know Don Swift last night was talking about what do you call it? C train.
So
That's Sock Train.
Sock Train.
Sock Train. That's where he was at.
Is that Sock Train? All right.
Underneath they got Sock
Yeah,
Train.
Sock Train
There's
was
Sock
the small
Train.
repair site.
Sock Train. And what's some of the other ones? Where's Sadek?
Sadek is Sadek is, what was it up here? Kamal was up here.
Yeah.
Rockjaw.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically as repairman, or what you did was you started out as radioman.
Train should have been up that way.
Well, you took your radio course.
No, Sadek,
and
yeah.
when
Sadek.
radio operators
There's
were
Sadek,
done,
right there.
started our
I had my
course, we
finger
went back to the back.
Sadek, right there.
So then we learned to repair.
So as radioman, you learned how to break it, and then you went to repairman to figure out how to fix it.
Hey, John,
So Bear Sadek is right there.
tell the story of how you found this map again.
And we had a relay
Where'd you
station
find
here
this?
to there.
That right there was thrown away at headquarters. I was pulling CQ, I was Spec 5E5, and I saw it in the trash, and I knew, I said, well, I don't think I want to throw that in the trash and have Charlie look at it. So I went and I said, okay. I said, I like that. I said, I took it. I says, and I just kept it.
And we get to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's cool.
Good stuff, guys.
In many of these places,
And it was 1968,
67's when I got it.
67.
Yes.
and many of these places were airfields.
Yeah.
And we had detachments on airfields.
Yeah.
Canto, Venlong, Sock Train, they were all Army airfields. And this is probably before they built Dongtown. But Dongtown was in here, and they moved the 9th Infantry from Bearcat to Dongtown. And they actually had a dredge that moved the sand from the bottom of the river. They were dredging the river out, and they built it up enough that they could build a base there.
So did you have Mama San steal this for you, or?
No. She wasn't in charge of quarters. I was.
I was gonna say, most of the Mama Sans knew more about what was going on than we did.
Oh, you know, they knew when we were gonna get hit.
Hey, do you remember after you'd have an attack, they'd come in the next day all bandaged up with broken arms and things like that? I used to get a kick out of that. I'd say, I wonder what you were doing last night.
Hey, where's Dave?
If not for Sharon Bowes, this don't happen.
He said if not for Sharon Bowes, this would not have happened, and he's absolutely right.
Great. I think everyone knows that. That's great.
Hi, I'm John Rostowski. I'm here at the guest of John Rostowski, who's my dad. So he was in Vietnam, well, a long time ago. So I was born a couple years after he got back. Come to find out about this event here not that long ago. So we emailed the facilitator of the event, and lo and behold, a few months later, here we are. So it's quite exciting to be here. A lot of rich history. Everybody's super friendly and eager to talk about, kind of their experiences, which of course has not been the norm in the past a lot with Vietnam, right? So a lot of guys just don't like to do that, but this is nice. So it's getting to a time where now folks are starting to talk about it again, and there's such a rich history around it. So I think it's blessed to be here, to have this opportunity to talk to all these fine gentlemen and hear the stories before they can't tell them anymore. So again, this is an honor to be here and support my dad, as well as get the rich history around it. Thank you.
How's everybody here doing? Stuart?
Good.
Good. How's the food?
Very good. He likes that.
Great.
When we heard about the first one, Diane told me we should go, and I told her I didn't want to come. But it didn't want to, and so when we got the invitation to the sacrament, she says we got to go, and I'm very glad we did. It meant a lot to me.
Well, it's meant a whole lot to me because we've made so many good friends, and we have come to love all of you. And this has been a huge help to Jimmy. I just cannot express to y'all how much it has meant to him and how much it has helped him. And I thank you so much for y'all doing this. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Hey, Ronky. Ronky, you seen Dave? Anybody know where Dave's at?
I think he's don't.
Dave who?
Hey, oh hell no, here, oh hell no,
Getting up early.
Oh hell no, break.
Hey, how you doing there?
Another day in paradise, huh?
Yeah, what the hell happened with the heat?
What, he from Texas?
Oh.
Yeah, 100 days.
Oh, so is he.
What's your name?
I'm James.
Okay.
My name's Larry Holcomb. Basically, we stopped in and you all invited me in.
Was going through the magazine, the VFW and American Legion, which I am a member, and I come across it about 6 or 7 years ago. I came across it, but then I was doing a lot of working, and I wanted to get to it, and things just didn't happen. So I decided to show up this first time. Of course, my wife said, "You should get down there. You should do this," and. It's one of those things that says, "Welcome home, veteran," with my brothers here. You know, and, we've seen stuff over there, you know. Sure, we were in Canto, but, you know, we saw action, you know. Nothing was handed to us. And the big thing is, the reason why we're there was for other brothers and sisters alongside of us. You know, our big thing is we fought for our brothers and sisters. So hope that all of us can come home. Some of us didn't. You know, my wife had a cousin who died over there, and you know, it brings home. You know, it's like I say, thank you for welcoming home me.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Okay, so Claire won this bottle a couple of years ago, and she's not a drinker, so she brought it back. And at some point this weekend, we're going to do a toast.
Okay. That came from Riley's, where he lives.
Okay. Okay.
He donated.
From the holler. Remember, he lives in the holler?
Boy, Claire, that's selfish. A bottle of booze for 2 years.
I didn't know what to do.
I was getting on to open it too, all right.
There's Dave. Hi, I'm Dave Callahan. Some of you know me from Vietnam or the reunions, and others have heard my name and wondered, hey, where's Dave? Well, I'm here, and this is my story. The last thing I wanted to do after getting home in 1968 was to think about Vietnam. I buried it all under my family things, Fort Mama things, and later Kodak things, or school things. In the 1990s, I got curious about all the people I had met and served with in 1967 and 1968, and I joined several veteran websites. In 2000, I saw an ad that said 52nd Signal Reunion, and it was on military.com. I signed up for that reunion. Since that reunion in 2000, that was the start of a special journey that continues to today. Each reunion has established and strengthened bonds among my veteran friends. Each reunion adds to the shared experience we have had since 1967, and now our wives have begun sharing good times together too. We have grown into a widespread extended family. We are glad about good news shared by member veterans. We are also sad about losses of our veterans and their families. I am blessed and privileged to help our veteran families stay in contact on Facebook, SBOKT, and other websites we've had in the past. We hope all of this can continue. God bless us all, and God bless America.
Thank everybody for coming. We'll see you in a year.
Sounds good.
Help.
I salute you with my left hand, Stuart.
Thank you.
Okay. You caught me working on my favorite old man pastime. Coincidentally, the same thing I used to do when I was about 14, but I enjoy it now as I've been building model planes, using all my scrap woods and things. Anyway, enough about that. I finally got the video piece together as much as I could. What it has meant to me for the last 23 years is something special. Not only the guys that I served with, their families, but the new people that were there at a different time than me have all become great friends. Sadly, in the last few years, and probably will continue as history will show, that we will slowly pass into the sunset. But it's meant a lot to me. I've enjoyed doing the videos. It's been a lot of work. It wasn't really work. My wife says, "You're working all the time." I said, "No." I got to talk to more people with the interviews and things like that, and I've enjoyed it. This last one was very good. It was a shame to see so many people that were missing, but I guess that's the way it's going to go. So anyway, I'll make this available as soon as I can, and hopefully we'll meet again sometime in the future. I don't know if we'll have another reunion, but hey, good luck. By the way, my desk used to be really clean and neat for most of my life. It's out of control now. What can I say?
Our speaker this year is Miss Tina. If you'll step forward and
A couple of months ago, Stuart asked me to do this, and so you don't tell him no, right? So he wanted me to share my story. I think most of you know it, but we'll do that because that's what he asked me to do. So I had done this several times for high schools. They have a Vietnam War history class, and I thought, piece of cake, I'll pull out that old speech and we'll use that. But it didn't work for you guys because you knew where you worked and what you'd done, so I just scrapped that one. So I wrote another one, let it sit for a couple days, read it again, said, nope, don't like that one either. And then the other night, we went to dinner with the Bridges, and I was telling them my dilemma, and Denny says, well, can I offer a suggestion? Of course. He says, just speak from the heart. Okay, that's what we'll do. So if I go off track, then forgive me. This started because my parents weren't married, and my grandmother on my dad's side chose to not have me in her life. So I didn't know his family growing up. And as I got older, I was about 11 when I found out about my biological father. And I knew a few things. My mom told me a few things. My aunts and uncles every now and then would pop up with something, or an aunt I hadn't seen in years. I saw her, and I walked in a room, and she stopped in her tracks, and she said, oh my God, she looks like Jenny. And I guess I do. And so I still didn't learn anything. And then when I got a little bit older and I started having kids, and I thought, I can't tell my kids about their grandfather because I don't know him. So I started getting more curious. And my mom got a letter from my dad's sister out of the blue. Like, they hadn't talked to each other for years, and asked if she could meet baby Lisa. She thought my name was Lisa. And so I jumped at the chance, and as it turns out, she had moved from Pennsylvania to Florida and lived about 45 minutes away from us.
Oh.
So so next weekend we hopped in the car and we went down, and I got to meet her and cousins. And with my cousins especially, because of course we're closer in age, it was like we'd known each other forever. So I got to know them a little bit, and then that really got the curiosity going because, of course, his sister, we call her Pudgy, not because she's overweight, but because she, as a kid, was this big around. But she had him on a pedestal, and he could do no wrong. He walked on water in her eyes. And the same thing for me. And, you know, I thought, well, he would have been the perfect dad. I would have been Daddy's little girl. I would have been standing on his shoes and dancing like you see little kids do. He would have walked me down the aisle. Everything would have been perfect. And obviously that didn't happen. But still, I wanted to know who he was. I wanted to know his personality. I wanted to know him. And then part of me thought, someday somebody's keeping him from me. He's really alive. And someday he's going to knock on the door and he's going to say, I'm sorry, I was gone for so long. And then I met you guys because of my curiosity. I started digging, started looking on the internet, and sorry, I just looked at my daughter and I shouldn't have done that.
You should know better than that, Mom. Come on now.
I did a search for I saw the virtual wall online, and you could send an email and have your loved one's name added to this virtual wall. So I sent it to this man, and he came back and he asked me if I had ever heard of an organization called Sons and Daughters in Touch, and explained to me that they were a support group for kids like me who had lost a parent in Vietnam. And I had no idea. For me, I grew up thinking, no, I'm the only person this has ever happened to. I'm unique, you know, and I'm alone. No one else could possibly understand. But then I met these kids, and I was like, they're not going to be for me, because they're going to sit around going, my dad died, woe is me. But I met them, and I fit right in, and they're a great bunch of people, and they encouraged me to keep looking. And the man that helped with the virtual wall, you know, he said, well, how about if I add a line on there that says, you would like to hear from your dad's friends? I said, well, yeah, absolutely. So in the meantime, I'm still doing some digging, and I found my dad's best friend from growing up, you know, from little kids, you know, so he filled in a lot of stuff, and he told me what he knew about where my dad was stationed. So it wasn't long after I put that little note on the virtual wall that I got an email from Roger Johnson, and he says, I think I knew your dad. And I thought, I think you're full of shit. I think this is a man who he wants something. He's, you know, he can't possibly be true, because these other kids from SDIT had looked for months and years and never found anyone. And here I was, a short time into this, and I got an email. So I called Art, my dad's childhood friend, and I said, what do I ask him? How do I vet this guy to make sure he's not just some sort of a weirdo? He said, well, if he was truly there, he will know that there was an orphanage close by, and he will know that there was a cemetery right there that was really creepy. So, good enough. So I got Roger on the phone, and I didn't even have to ask, and he started with the cemetery and explaining things, and I said, okay. I still didn't trust him. And poor Roger, you guys are lucky, because Roger got the brunt of me. I was so skeptical, and I beat that poor man up to make him prove that he was who he was. And I got the SDIT kids were going to a veterans reunion about 3 hours away from where most of us lived. And here I was too. I didn't know these people very well, and they said, we're going to go to this reunion. Do you want to go? Sure. So I hopped in a van with a bunch of people that I don't know, and you get halfway across the state of Florida, and I thought, this is stupid. I don't know these people. I may not be coming back alive. But we went over there and we had a good time, and it's a huge reunion. They have bands, and they've got all these different organizations that set up tents with information for veterans, and, you know, of course, people are selling things and all that kind of stuff too.
The moving wall?
And the moving wall was there. And we had the SDIT kids, we had a tent set up, and some of us had pictures of our dads and said, okay, this is where he was stationed. Well, I was out running, we took shifts in our little tent, and I was out running around, we were, I don't know, watching a band or whatever, and all of a sudden this girl, Jennifer, came running, and she was so excited. She says, you have to come back to the tent, you have to come back to the tent. And I thought, well, what in the world for? She says, there's a man there that says, he doesn't know if he knew your dad, he doesn't think that he did, but he was in Canto. Now, this can't be right again. You know, ever the skeptic. And I met Chuck Kosak. And that was on a Saturday. This reunion went on for the whole weekend. Actually, it goes on for a week. Sunday, he lived close by, so he says, would it be okay if I brought pictures? Well, those were the first pictures I ever saw of Canto. He brought his albums, and he and I sat there on a park bench for hours and hours. And we went through every picture in those albums. And he explained to me, you know, these were, of course it was different from when most of you guys were there, because he was there a few years later, and he did a different job and all, but, you know, he was the first man to show me the pictures of Canto. And for me to see that what I had perceived of where my dad was so wrong. For me, it was, because I didn't know his job. I thought for sure he was in the jungle somewhere, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I thought. I just didn't anticipate barracks and buildings, and, you know, I thought he's out rolling around on the ground in the jungle. And, you know, so Chuck explained a lot of that to me. Oh, and just before that reunion, I talked to Roger about it, and, you know, he knew I was going. I had a package in the mail, and he had sent me different things that showed his name and my dad, you know, like orders with my dad's name and his name on there. Again, he's still trying to prove to me that he's not a weirdo. Of course, Roger is a little bit of a weirdo, but... and then he also sent me this jacket with his name on it, and he says, your dad and I used to get our uniforms mixed up because they had the same last name. He said, so I don't know if this was mine or if it was your dad's. I'm sure it was Roger's because they were completely different build, but he says, you know, there's a good chance that at some point he put it on because that's how they would figure out they had the wrong uniforms. They'd put it on and the pants were too short or, you know, whatever. So I had that, and I still have that. And I used that a lot when I talked to these high school kids to explain how Vietnam impacted me. And I would take it to these 17-year-old kids and to try to get them to appreciate having their parents. I explained to them, I said, when you have a bad day and you want to go home and you need that hug from your dad, you've got that hug from your dad. This is what I have. And I think that got through to some of them. But anyways, that's a little side note. Roger told me from the very beginning, we need to find bows. Every conversation was, we need to find bows. So I went and I started hunting, and I put in every search engine. Of course, this was like 1999, so internet wasn't as good as it is today, but I kept searching and kept searching Stuart bows, and he says he was from Indiana, and he told me everything that he could remember, and I searched and searched, and I couldn't find him. And then I stopped for a little bit, and then I'd go back again, and I'd search again. And this went on for months. And then finally, June 10th, Google search, Stuart bows. Pops right up there like he was just there. June the 10th is my dad's birthday.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, I got a little birthday present. First thing Sharon Bow says to me is, we're just simple country people. I said, that's okay, because that's what I like. And Bose and I got real tight, as y'all know. And my ex-husband was one of his side gigs was motorcycle mechanic. He built motors for drag races, drag bikes. And he was coming up to Indiana for a race. So I asked Bose, I said, how far are you from Indianapolis? He said, 2 hours. I said, okay, well, I never went to the races with Scott. Not when he traveled like that. And so I flew up with the race team. And Stuart and Sharon met me at the hotel that we were staying at. But Stuart can't just come and knock on the door and say hi. I've never seen pictures of him or Sharon at this point. He can't just knock on the door and say hi, I'm Bose. No. He has the desk at the hotel call me and let me know that they're there. I go down there and I'm walking around this lobby trying to find him. He's hiding behind a pillar.
Awesome.
But he had brought me a rose with a little card on there. It said, happy birthday. Love you, Dad. It was my birthday. He said he felt compelled to bring me a rose from my dad for my birthday. And we had a great time that weekend. Wandered around and saw Indianapolis. And spent a lot of time with him and Sharon, and then we introduced Sharon to the world of drag racing.
He hasn't slowed down since,
No,
has
he
he?
And then Sharon, you know, she got all excited because this was such a great story that she wanted to tell the world. She started with the media. She had the, I don't know what she did to WHAS, but local TV station up here, but she convinced them that this was a good story that they needed to share. They sent me a plane ticket. So get your butt up here. So I flew up and stayed with them. And we did our little interview. It's floating around here somewhere. We've been in the newspaper a couple times. I don't know what else we've done with the media, but yeah, Sharon was a bulldog. She wanted that story out there, so between her and Bose. And then we started finding more of you guys, because Stuart had that little black book.
Brown.
Oh, and the other thing, when I found...
He said brown.
Oh, was it brown book?
Yeah, black books have girls' names. Black and brown.
So he has that, so that was one of the things Roger said. If he still has that little book, he's got names and addresses and contact information for everybody. So he got his little book out and started calling. Surprisingly, a lot of people, the numbers worked. If it wasn't for the guy, it was for his parents, or there was a relative there that knew. So I found all you guys. And then through you guys, there was the video of my dad walking around the Pink Palace. That was kind of cool, because obviously I'd never seen him move before. There was his voice. It was one little word. It was, we were asking him about me and my mom. And I think the question was something about getting married. He laughed and he said, negative. That's okay. And my dad, when my mom got pregnant, he was had already taken off for Vietnam before she knew. So of course she had to write him and let him know that he was going to be a daddy. And I guess he wasn't too happy about that, so I've been told. And I forget where I was going with that. I don't know. He wasn't happy about it, but you couldn't tell that in his letters, because his letters to my mom are all very sweet and very caring. You know, how you feeling? Did you go to the doctor today? That kind of stuff. And he did come home. He left November of '66, and then he came home. I was born August of '67. He came home November '67, so he was home for a month because he had extended before he left to come home. So he came home, and my my grandmother on my mom's side, said he would just sit there and just look at me and just stare at me like in awe as if I made that baby girl. And she just said he was sweet. My grandmother said that he loved me. Still wasn't getting married though. But you guys made him real. You guys, in all your stories of telling me where he was and telling me things that he did, and you gave me his personality, his voice, and Ronky. Call it Ronky. And I didn't know how that conversation was going to go. And neither did he. Because he had no idea what I wanted. It was a little weird that first one. But we talked. He's my buddy. He told me that they were standing there talking. He doesn't remember what the conversation was. But he said that round came in. And they hit the ground. He said Dad was on one side. I don't remember if it was right or left, but my dad was on one side of it when they were talking, and he was on the opposite side when they hit the ground. He told me, he said he didn't suffer. He didn't know what hit him. And that meant a lot because he didn't suffer. Each of you told me something different. You've shared your stories. You've explained what it was like. You've shown me pictures. You made him real. He's not up on that pedestal anymore. He was ornery. Probably both. I can't blame it on both. He started that before he got there. He used to, he and his buddy Art used to. My grandfather, his dad was an alcoholic. He spent a lot of time at the neighborhood bar. And my dad and Art used to go and steal his car. They'd push the car down the hill and pop the clutch and take off, and then my grandfather could never figure out why he never had any gas in his car. And things like that, and I appreciate all of you for everything you've done for me, and it's made it real for me and my kids. I think that's about all I have to say.
Thanks, God.
Good.
You know, you guys made him real for her, but for me, my connection to the situation is basically, you guys have given me a piece of my grandfather that I wouldn't have ordinarily had. You know, Mom never got to be Daddy's girl, and I never got to be, you know, Grandpa's little princess or whatever the case. But because of you guys, I feel like I do have that piece, and I just want every one of you to know that you guys have been the closest thing that I've had to my grandpa, and I appreciate that, and I love all of you. And I know this little guy loves you guys too. So, thanks guys.
Can you please lead us in a prayer?
Father, we're thankful for the time we got together here. We're thankful for the fellowship, friendship, and all the things we've learned from each other. We just ask you just to bless our group, continue to give us good health, lead us in the right direction. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
silence for the remembrance while these names are being read. The first person to read their list will be Stuart.
Shenandoah, Matilda Pennington, Virginia Dale, Alan Winters, and whom was that?
All right, I have Richard Mueller, Cecil Chadwell, Arnold Rosner, Jay Arnold, Walter Carney, Michael Callahan, Peter McDonald, Joe Clements, Richard Wildenrod, and Richard Swift.
William Milk-Iser, Eric Malone, also known as Bubbles to us, Jerry Hopper, a friend of mine from Portland, and John Roper from Idaho. Again, I've been up to see him a couple times before he died.
Charles Cunningham, Ronnie Burkholder, Danny Latham, David Woodhorn, Kenneth Stoltz, J.D. Tapley, Eugene Hall, and I'm going to add one that I was in Mito with me, and Robert Houndshill.
I've got Forrest Bowman, Mitch Ashley, Walt Helhowski, Don Castles, and Dave Tomlin.
First name I got, Jose Luis Ronde, killed in Vietnam, October 13, 66. Roland Hernandez, cousin of mine, killed 1968. Rafael Torres, good friend of mine from childhood. Bob Torres, real good friend of mine from childhood. Salvador Zambrano, we went to school together, graduated together. Enrique Ronque, my dad. Jesus Ronque, my little brother. And Chuck Stilwell, good friend.
Danny Goodwin, Ray Friedman, Kurt Paulson, Robert DeLong, Roger DeLong, John Hughes, Carl Elliott, and Danny Hernandez.
Ellis Sharp, James Stallers, Captain Steve Harmon, Jose Ortiz, Manuel Rivera de Valle, who slept 10 feet from me, Jerome Davis.
Angus Blanchard, Wilbert Leon Green, Tony Dodds, and David Smokey Hayes.
Eugene Gardner and John Cerrone.
This one's a tough one for me, for our group. As all of you know, Sammy passed away this year. I was asked by Lorraine to come up and do the eulogy. It was a beautiful funeral, everything the man deserved. And I was, really, that's the first eulogy I've ever done. And most of the people, or a lot of the people, were from his area, from his city, town, and it was packed. They all loved him. They came to us, Sammy. Fish fry, I'm sure you can remember those. He was always upbeat and nice.
Warren Mobley, Harold Wildbaker, Tim Colsar, Marvis Hood, Julian Miner,
And Richard Smith.
And then the names I have, some of the ones I have are because some of y'all couldn't pronounce them, so they got put on my list. So I apologize if I messed the name up. Alan Mediate, Alex Gubin, Laureate Durbo, Jimmy Barron, Jerry Sabins, Paul McGahe Jr., Paul Sandemar, Clifford Collinsworth, Charles Bettner, Roland Turner, Don Lakin, Alan Guimon, Gregorio Camacho, and Jim Drury. That's all the names that were on our list. If anybody was missed, I apologize.
Warrant Officer John Raingard passed away.
Stuart is going to sing Amazing Grace. You want me to wheel you out front? Sit fine right there, all right?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. If you know the same. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise. And when we first begun. Amen.
I'm going to ask Jimmy Calvin to please stand up for a closing benediction. Those that
Father, we come to you with thoughts for friends. We just ask you to bless their families, for those who are lost. We lost a man of our group. Just comfort their families at this time. Be with us. Father, just give us comfort. Keep us all safe on our journey home. And continue to bless us. In Jesus' name.
Amen. 52nd Battalion, stand up.
everybody can please be seated except for the veterans. Please ask the veterans to stay standing. Yeah. Well, keep digging it, that pocket gets deeper and deeper. As a token of appreciation for Tina and I, thank you Veterans Challenge coin. Appreciate your service, appreciate everything you've done. Stuart? Billy? Jimmy?
Thank you.
Ron?
Thank you.
Sam?
Thank you, sir.
Terry?
You've done a hell of a job, man.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Dave? Thank you very much.
Let me get out of the way.
You're not getting out
think we'll leave it with a big thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Is there anything anybody in here would like to add about how they feel about the reunions, what it's done for them? Anything at all that you would like to share to the group?
I've enjoyed just seeing the boys use my youth.
Yeah.
I misspent youth.
What I wanted to share, I was gonna say it earlier, but I missed out on it, or I just forgot about it, concerning Sam. We were in Washington at the wall, and she came up to me and asked me, if I would be her adopted grandfather. And I told her, yes, but you have to learn to speak Spanish.
Spanglish still counts, leave me alone. That's my abuelo.
Yeah, and when she graduated, when I first met Tina, I gave her a t-shirt that I had made in Corpus Christi with James Johnson's name on it, on the front, and all the people that had been killed from Corpus Christi. And in return, she gave me a Purple Heart token, which, when Sam graduated, I had it taken and put James Johnson's name on it, his service number, and gave it to her for her graduation party. So I wanted to say that, mention it, and so there it is. Anyway, that's what she told me when she graduated. She said, I learned Spanish, you know. Te quiero, abuelo, you know. I love you, Grandpa, or Grandfather. So.
Now we just have to teach you to speak Spanish.
I would like to say that Tina and Don, the Swinneys, Stuart, Sharon, everybody that was involved with the Corrigan part of this planning, the really hard part, you know, we just had to show up. I think it's been 22 years of fantastic memories, and especially you guys this time, Tina and Don. I don't have to say, remind these people, they all know how much work you went through. And I think we should give them a hand. It's great.
Will everyone please stand for the playing of taps?
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Old friends, after all of these years, just old friends, through laughter and tears, old friends. What a find, what a priceless treasure. Old friends, like like a rare piece of gold, my old friend. Make it great to grow old, old friends. But all I will hold to old friends. Now God must have known there'd be days on our own we would lose the will to go on. That's why he sent friends like you along. Old friends, you've always been there, my old friends. We've had more than our share, old friends. Through it all I will hold to old friends. A phone call, a letter, or a pat on the back, or a, hey, I just dropped by to say, a hand when you're down, a loan when we just couldn't pay. A song or a story, a rose from the florist, or a little note that you happen to send just out of the blue to tell us that you're still our friend. Old friend, after all of these years, just old friends, through laughter and tears, old friends. What a find, what a priceless treasure. Old friends, like a rare piece of gold, my old friends. Make it great to grow old, old friends. Through it all I will hold to old friends. Now God must have known there'd be days on our own we would lose the will to go on. And that's why he sent friends like you along. Old friends, you've always been there, my old friends. We've had more than our share, old friends. We are all millionaires in old friends.
Stuart had for Tina would do more than fill in the blanks. It would add a new dimension to her dad.
easiest stewardess.
Do you want us to be at Wayne?
That's wheat no more.
Authentic battle.
Yes, absolutely. If you look directly in front of us, you see
about the unit and about the tragedy that brought us back together.
We were both babies, and our dads were killed in the same incident. Just there's a connection there.
We'll make our own circle. Everybody hooked up?
Yeah!
Ken, I don't know where you're at.
Oh, wow, those lazy, hazy, crazy.
Both hands or one finger? Waving again?
That's enough. How many? You gotta take. That's fine. Just hold on.
The last one.
HHD and Company. Gravel, I guess. Don't run over.
1960, the preserve rapidly disappearing land.
Simon says hands up. Simon says put him down. Simon says put him up. Put him down. Sit down. You're all right, dear.
I was in Vietnam for a long time.
How long?
19 months.
What years?
Stand beside her and guide her through the light, bring the light from above.
Okay. Need your help?
To tilt, the government replaces them or fix.
Under repair. That guard was given to us by Germany after war 4 degrees. So it's on the far side. I will point it out as we drive past. It has an angle of only 4 degrees, and you can actually.
Swelled inside as battle lines were gone. Hail the men and live.
Thank you.
Riley's gotta get up here.
I got mine. Where y'all at? Your hand up. Well, that eliminated the rest of it.
Wow! Good thing.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't know if I like it or not yet. I'm still working on it. We have a very long training program here for you. All I know is what I've seen on the Discovery Channel.
James Johnson Jr.
We've no less days to say.
Thank you for your service.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You gotta get Beanie down there. He's good.
Wow, what a shot.
Organic waste in this world. So let me.
You can write. I thought my wife was going to do it.
You got yours?
How you doing, Rick?
All right, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Good morning, welcome, gentlemen.
My hand, lest I fall, lead me home.
Can't wait to get some film of this doggone thing.
Can we take some in front of the bus?
Not right now.
Okay.
Wait till it's moving. We're not.
Good. I was surprised because I enjoyed mine.
Oh, man.
You know any songs?
I need to kind of kill a little time. Stretch.
Where's the pool?
All right. Howdy.
They've been drinking, I think, all evening.
Roger, step in a little closer.
You can take a whole bunch of them. Sharon.
Please move the pad to the left.
You know, I thought we were finished.
Depends. Well, there's talk to down here.
You want my walker?
Talk to there.
Too bad Dave ain't here.
Yeah, it'd be good underneath that little tree. Thanks again,
Literally,
fellas.
welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that's that.
Are we done yet?
Come on.
Cameras. Make sure we can see those cameras.
Strength and wisdom and desire to come out and be one another.
Just take them.
Thank